Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Know's podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Rod, what are you hot about tonight?
Well, you know what, Jim? I have a feeling you and I are hot about the same thing, and I'm going to try my best to not take an awful lot of your thunder here. But what I'm hot about is the absolute decision to just cop out. We can't figure out who we want to beat Roman Reigns, so we're just going to create a whole nother belt. I mean, Jimmy, when you heard that Triple H was going to do an announcement, had you already sniffed out that that's what it was going to be about? Or were you like me, just waiting around for what is this guy about to say?
I didn't know it would be a new belt, but I did think it was going to be something along the lines of changing the belts or something like that. A couple weeks ago, I came on this podcast and I said leaders need to learn, and there's no learning in WWE. There's no learning in WWE again. Now, why are they doing this? You have to think big picture. Why are they doing this? Well, I think there's one of two reasons why they're doing this. Number one is to appease Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia always wants something big and something amazing at their show that they're paying $50 million to WWE for per show. So that's a good way to give them something huge. Now, that's not the only reason they're doing this. Number two, they do have a lot of their television deals are coming up, and they may want to have two champions that way. But here's the thing. Who's the WWE champion right now, Rod?
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. He's had it for 1,000 days. We've heard that a few times, right? How huge would it be for Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, whomever, to beat Roman Reigns for the championship? That's pretty big. That's going to make some news. That's going to probably make some lower page Yahoo News, Google News type of thing after 1,000 days championship ends, okay? If Cody Rhodes wins this world championship, the story is not finished there. I'm sorry.
No.
I will tell you, there's a couple people I think that could make it something good. Rod, you weren't watching when the last time they did something similar to this, and it was even worse the last time, Rod.
Is this when the Universal belt was created and Finn Balor won it?
No. No, because they had two brands. They wanted to split it up. They had a real good match. No. They did this way back in the day when Eric Bischoff came out, and he was the GM of SmackDown at the time.
Oh, the infamous hug.
And he said, we have a new champion. And it was a big gold belt from WCW. And that champion is Triple H. And Triple H came down, they gave him the belt. He's a champion. That is how they did I think it might have been the first one. It probably was when they split the belt up. This isn't too much better. Now, the belt itself, I think, is fine. It's a combination of the big gold belt and the new WWE belt. Who cares? It just really waters down the product again, because right now you can have Roman Reigns on both shows if you want, but not moving forward. And Triple H's diatribe of this champion can wrestle all the time. Roman put it in his contract where he doesn't have to. You know what would be awesome, Rod? If the WWE was a television show and it was scripted, and you could make anybody your world champion. Because then you could make someone like a Seth Rollins, like a Cody Rhodes, like a Finn Balor, like a Kevin Owens, like so many other people who are going to be there every week to be your champion, to be that fighting champion. Unfortunately, that's not how WWE works. Roman Reigns is just the best. He's gotten a lot of help, and they can't figure out how to get the belt off him. And it sucks. It does.
Well, what I would say here is, I guess I got to take a little bit of a mea culpa here, right? Like, I was kind of, going at you guys before WrestleMania that, the bloodline's fine. The bloodline's fine. Roman doesn't have to lose. It's okay if Roman doesn't lose. But you guys were absolutely right. I mean, that was their chance, right? Boom. There you go. You're out of the bloodline story. Everybody wanted it. Cody becomes huge. He's around all the time. You can then split the belts that way, right? That's what I would want. I am so with you. You have to give somebody the ability to get that carrot, right? What you've probably told many of these guys during this Roman Reigns reign, excuse me, I couldn't do any better than that. But what you've probably told them is that, hey, this is what's good for business. Wait your turn. We'll get there. And then now nobody is going to get that carrot that's been dangled out in front of them that they get to be the one that beat Roman Reigns. They're just going to give out a secondary belt. And Jimmy, I'll disagree with you. There's only one person that this new belt they just created can go on for it to be right. I don't know how in the world you step on this podcast and say there's multiple people that would be fine. There's only one person that belt will look good on.
You know, we joke about this, how much you love Seth Rollins, but you are right. If they want this to be done and done right, if they want this belt to be hot, you got to put it on Seth Rollins. Do not. You put this belt on Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
That's
done. What they're going to do, Jimmy. You know that's what he's going to do.
See, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you've got a shot at Seth Rollins on this one. It just makes the most sense to have him stay on Raw, be the Raw champion, and Roman Reigns go to SmackDown.
Is Rollins going to beat Cody Rhodes, though, at Clash of Champions for the belt?
That could happen. That would be interesting. I don't know if I see Rhodes involved in that because he still wants to kind of go towards Roman and SummerSlam maybe, but I could see that being a very big possibility where Rhodes and Rollins face off because that'd be a heck of a match.
Because he's not gonna get the briefcase, right? Which is the only other premium live event between Backlash and SummerSlam, is it not? They're not gonna give him the briefcase, so he's gonna have to do something at that pay-per-view, I would think, right? Again, they're going overseas. That's in London. They're gonna want to take Cody over there, no?
Yeah, they're definitely gonna want to take Cody over there.
That's what I'm saying. So what's his move going to be coming out of Lesnar, right? I guess we'll get to our predictions next week, right? But I mean, if he's got to either beat or lose Lesnar, then he's going to have to do something at Money in the Bank, which then leads to Roman. So, I mean, I don't know. Or when is the Night of the Champions? Is that before SummerSlam?
Night of Champions is May 20th. Yeah. It's the same weekend as the WWE or AEW pay-per-view. So yeah, it's in May.
Okay, so then Money in the Bank is June, and then SummerSlam is July.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, SummerSlam's August.
SummerSlam's
I think
August.
there's a time in there where I don't know the schedule right now, but usually there's a time in there where they don't have one. Like it's end of June, July 1 maybe, then the end of July. I got to look at the schedule here. I wish there was a way I could do that quickly. We'll see. How interested are you? Okay, there's a lot to talk about in Raw. Okay, we've got the draft coming up on Friday. I over under on how long this actually lasts is about 3.5 weeks, where finally someone will come over on the other brand and it'll just be destroyed again. No big deal. I think what is going to be interesting though is Reigns, I'm assuming, is going to SmackDown. He just seems like a SmackDown guy. Raw then between now and Night of Champions is going to hopefully have a big, nice tournament to get to either the final four for Night of Champions or just the final match for Night of Champions to crown that world champion. I think that's going to be kind of cool coming up.
So you think there's a possibility where we're going to get somebody's going to have to wrestle twice at Night of Champions to win the belt? That would be cool. I'd be behind that.
I think two people are going to have to wrestle. I think that would be a perfect way because Night of Champions is usually 3.5, 4 hour pay-per-view. So you have the two opening matches be those matches and then 6 matches in between. And then you have the championship at the very end. I think that could be a possibility.
I always dig a good tournament as well, right? Because it's like you get a little bit of a chance to sort of see the pecking order of the mid-carders, right? Like if you're a mid-carder who doesn't even get chosen for one of those first round matches where a guy's got to beat somebody to move on, and things are really not looking good for you if you can't even be somebody who goes down on their back in the beginning stages of a Night of the Champions match. But then on another level, if you do get to be that, then you're like, all right, maybe I got a shot someday to actually get a belt around my waist because they at least thought of me to put me in this tournament.
Had some big news before Raw. CM Punk stopped by in Chicago. Well, I mean, it's not a big deal because he's still signed to AEW. So he flew up from Florida with a bunch of WWE personalities, and they went and he talked for a little bit and then was asked to leave. There's some speculation that it was just kind of a, hey, burying the hatchet type of thing and going through some things for Punk, but he is scheduled to go back to AEW, I believe, relatively soon. So just something to throw out there. No real news or anything like that, but some of the listeners might have heard of that.
Do you want to see him back in the WWE someday?
I don't know if I care, and I don't think that's a good thing.
See, that's my thoughts exactly, right? I think that this guy is a whole lot of talk for not a whole lot on the other end these days. I think if you I'm not the AEW expert, certainly, But if you look at on paper what he actually did for AEW, the amount of time and stuff that was spilled on him was just, I guess that's what AEW wanted. But man, this guy doesn't have a whole lot on paper, and there's a whole lot of talk about this guy these days.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened in AEW, and hopefully they get that figured out. And listen, if they do, it's going to be a heck of a storyline moving forward. So we may be talking about that more. Probably not, but it's a nice thought. Give me Cody Finn all day long, every day. Those two can wrestle really good together. I'm surprised they gave that away on a Raw. Gee, if Cody was champion, that would have been a good program for the next pay-per-view. I'm going to stop because Cody's not champion, and we shouldn't talk about that anymore.
All right, let me ask you this, Jimmy. You know, I like to get you angry every once in a while. Let me ask
Bring
you
it.
What's a worse finishing move? The coup de grace or the crossroads?
Coup de grace looks like it hurts like hell. So I would say coup de grace is better, just because if you do it it's shown, you could actually really hurt somebody. Ask our boy Sabonis from the Kings on that one. But it's also really, you've got to be very skilled to not hurt the person. And Finn Balor
definitely
is
skilled. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not.
No, I think the coup de grace is better than the crossroads. I think crossroads has always been kind of just a little janky for me. I mean, it works, whatever. But
the what is it? The Cody Cutter where he jumps off the ropes.
That's
fine
cool.
with the Cody Cutter. Yeah, I'm fine with the Cody Cutter, but the crossroads, and then he's like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if I just did 3 right in a row?" Like, no, man. It's not like, it's like that line in Meet the Parents where Ben Stiller goes in and he asks the guy for, "You have any expensive wine?" He's like, "You can just buy a shitload of mums." You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you have something that's inexpensive and not cool. Just doing it multiple times doesn't make it any better. But no, I'm with you. I was a little surprised by that, but I got Vince all in my head, right? Like, because Vince used to be,
and he apparently made a lot of changes to this show. He hasn't been doing that lately, but this show he did make a lot of changes.
Yeah, see, talk vignettes, right? Like the Bronson Reed vignettes have been popping up everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's another one of Vince's staples. And he used to always be the staple of the match. There'd be no real good ending. Like, every match on Raw would be like 3 or 5 minutes, and it would just be some sort of a weird squash. So he's all in my head. And then we see these longer matches that go through like 3 commercial breaks. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. The matches on Raw, I don't know what to read into them recently, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, Jim.
Well, they're just, the last couple of weeks has just been trying to get to the draft so they can figure it out. And then the next week's Raw, you're going to see the draftees and the continuation of the draft coming over. So see what happens there. LWO and Bloodline. You know, it was nice to see a nice little 6-man tag. Pretty good overall. LWO, a lot of good workers. You knew what was going to happen at the end. That's fine.
I'm in on Santos Escobar though, dude. Something about that guy, I dig it, right? Like, he was cool and he seemed powerful when he was leading Legado del Fantasma. Apparently Vince doesn't buy that. So now they're Latino World Order. That's fine. But there's still something there for me with Santos. I like it. The whole let me respect Ray. I think it sort of props up Ray at the same time. But because Ray's a Hall of Famer, it also doesn't make Santos look weak for, like revering Ray that much. I think it's a good little angle. We need to have the other 2 guys be a little less faceless, right? Like, we need to figure out ways that they start to pop a little bit more so we know their names. But I'm into it. I love Escobar.
Say goodbye to the Street Profits, Rod. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, I think, are minus or plus 5,000 to be drafted on separate brands coming up. There's no way they're going to be on the same brand.
Yeah, I think we're definitely headed there. And it's the thing that makes the sense for these guys. You don't want to see a nasty rocker style breakup for these dudes. You just don't. Like, let's just separate them the way we did the New Day, and we'll go on about our business. And Montez Ford can sink or swim, because I think all 3 of us on this podcast have had some high hopes for one Montez. So we'll see what he can do.
You know, that would be a good person to get to the final 4 of that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just out of nowhere, you know.
Chad Gable, maybe a Chad Gable, Jim. Or
I think Chad Gable and Angelo Dawkins might be forming a tag team. I have a feeling they might be forming a tag team.
There we go.
So,
all right.
On that one.
Will Gable still get to say thank you as part of their new tag team?
No, it's something completely different.
Dang it. They're taking away my second favorite thing about Gable.
He could go back to Shorty G. Think about that.
Ooh, all right. You got me intrigued. As long as Chad Gable still gets to technically wrestle better than anybody else on the roster, I'm fine with it.
Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, street fight, 1-on-1. Surprising. Thought it was going to be a 6-man or a tag team. Sorry. What do you think about 1-on-1 Bad Bunny and Damian Priest?
Bunny must really love wrestling, man. I mean, if he's willing to do a street fight like this one-on-one, he must really absolutely love wrestling. So good for him. Again, Bunny is not for you and I. I don't know that he
Sure.
expects to be on too many 40-year-old Spotify playlists, but he's a big deal. So we'll see if having him associated wrestling this match, they can get a pretty big number on what's a usually pretty also ran pay-per-view. So, I mean, I can't blame him. The work the guy's done in the past, I've been impressed. He doesn't look out of place in the ring. So let's go. But I would like you was immediately when he challenged him to just a one-on-one street fight. I was like, whoa, I thought they'd have somebody trying to prop him up a little bit, but Priest is an experienced worker. So I'm sure he'll be doing his best to try to make Bunny look good.
I'd like to know how big this actually is for people. Like you said, I don't know Bad Bunny from anybody. I know him from wrestling. That's it. It'd be like if Eddie Vedder came in and just challenged Damian Priest for us. It'd be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Which that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Vedder hits him with like a ukulele or something like
Yeah,
that. I could get in on that.
Says I'm the better man and then just walks away. I like that.
Hey-o,
I like that.
you.
I like
You're
that.
even writing now. You're not
Look at me. I
writing.
know one of Pearl Jam's most famous songs. Who knew? We got to talk about
what do you think we're going to see in that match? Let me ask you. You've seen a lot more of these celebrities get involved in wrestling matches than me. What do you think we're going to see?
A lot of smoke and mirrors, meaning that there's going to be a bunch of weapons. There's going to be a ton of interference. And I think eventually you're going to see the LWO kind of overpower Priest and Ray hit everything on him. And then Bad Bunny will get the pin.
I like that. Anything we do to keep continuing to make Rey Mysterio look good here in his waning days, I'm for.
How about your boy coming out and saying, hey, I got a match with Omos. How about that, everybody?
I enjoyed that so much because that's absolutely how I feel about the match. It just got slapdash thrown together out of nowhere. I don't believe Seth and Omos have even crossed paths anywhere. MVP tried to save it because MVP's good behind a microphone saying we challenged you because Omos needs a win over somebody with your stature. But I absolutely do not care about that match. I want to care about Omos. I think he's athletic. He's definitely got the goods as far as he's that big and you automatically are like, oh my God, you stop in your tracks when you see him. But if he keeps losing to people, Jim, what the hell's it going to mean?
Like every other giant they've ever had, it's just better when they lose instead of dominate. That's Vince McMahon. I mean, that's what happens. So yeah, Rollins needs to win this for sure, and he's not lying.
He can't be losing to Omos and then get the belt like we were just talking about a few minutes ago.
Well, now wait a minute. You're still new at this. When people are going to go for championships, they lose a lot going up, and then when they get that championship, they still lose in non-title matches a lot. Yeah, so that could easily happen. We've had a couple of short shows here. This one isn't as short as last week's. Still not sure what happened with that, but that's okay, everybody. YahWeKnowPod@gmail.com, @YahWeKnowPod on Twitter for us. Next week's show going to be a lot bigger. We've got draft to talk about. We're going to have the Friday picks, the Monday picks, and we've got a pay-per-view to talk about, premium live event, if you will. So lots going on next week on the Yeah We Know podcast. We have the NFL draft. We're going to talk about that next week on the Balls and Brew and Fast Break. Fast Break has just been nuts recently, hasn't it, with all this NBA stuff?
Oh, there's so much to talk about. We promised 15 minutes because when the Fast Break was originally, it was coming at the end of NFL and we didn't want to take people, too much time, but we have expanded it more and more and more as we go along because the NBA keeps having more and more and more things for us to talk about. No doubt about it.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Knows Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod.
And my apologies to Bronson Reed. All right. I see you out there. All right. Something about you is intriguing me a little bit. I don't know if it's the accent. I don't know if it's the fact that you're a big man who can move. I don't know if it's the fact that you're doing vignettes. So you remind me of Veer. I don't know. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go on it yet, Bronson Reed, but I see you.